Hello, beautiful. Welcome back to Nat's Beautiful Life. Today, I'm going to be doing a quick little book review on this book, The Atlas 6 by Libby Blake. I'm not going to be doing a full-on, spoiler review book chat. Just wanted to give a quick review to this and maybe a little extra information than what you get on the back and what everybody's been kind of talking about, because this book has blown up all over YouTube. I don't know that you can even buy it in stores yet. You may be able to, but I don't know. I got mine off Amazon. I will link this down below. I'm not sponsored. I don't get any money. It's just so that if you want to purchase it, you can. Tor actually has picked up this book, so they will be re-releasing this under the Tor name and also the future books, which is exciting. I love it when an independent author, their work gets validated and they get picked up by, a big publisher and have all the cool marketing and all that stuff behind them. But what's awesome is she didn't even need it because, it's already blown up because it's that good. I'm going to go ahead and give you a little spoiler of my own. I gave it 5 stars. I really love this book and I do recommend it. This is a fantasy book. You have 6 people who are a part or are trying out to be a part of this society, the Alexandrian Society. So the basic premise that you get on the back and that everybody's talked about is the Alexandrian Library didn't actually burn down, it was just moved. And all of that knowledge still exists and it needs to be protected, and also it can be accessed by the people of the Alexandrian Society. Every 5 years, 6 people are chosen. These are the best of the best. So this takes place in our world, but in the future, I don't think they actually give you the date of it, but it's as if, so the world was dying, everything was going to poop, and then finally magic was revealed to exist, and magical people saved the world. And so because of that, magic is known. There are people who are normal people like you and me who have no actual magic, and then, as apparently there has always been, there's magical people, and there are magical schools, magical companies, magical industries, things like that, and they work together with the regular people of the world, so to speak, and it just kind of keeps the world going. So we live in a world where people know about magic, but not everybody has it. Some people have a little bit, some people have a lot, and some of the best, so like the Dumbledores of the world, if you will, get chosen when people think, this is going to be, this is a very talented person, and they get chosen for those 6 positions or 6 spots, so to speak. In this world, there are 10 billion people, so that's why I say it's in the future, because there's only like 7 now. Anyway, moving on. So there are 6 spots, but only 5 will make it to the society, will be initiated to the society. And so all they're told is that you have to choose someone who is to be eliminated by the end of the first year, and then you move on to the second year, more training, and then you could be initiated and all of that stuff. So this takes place that first year. So I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the characters. Again, they're mentioned on the back and all of this stuff, but I think what's really cool about this book is you not only have these characters with these interesting powers, but there are dynamics between themselves and also some of the things within the society as they're learning. And then, because they've been a little isolated, they get to go home for Christmas, but then they find out there are other societies out there, and they're kind of they don't feel like the knowledge that's in the Alexandrian library should be only for the people of the Alexandrian society, and there's all kinds of things going on, and that's what makes it so much more high stakes. There's high stakes within the group of the people, but then they learn more, and then they start to look at the society and think about is this right, or and it doesn't really matter whether it's right or wrong if you think about it, for them, because they have all the knowledge. And so yeah, anyway, so we have Libby and Nico. They were rivals at their magic university. He grew up in a magical family and was very well off. Libby grew up in a regular family, I believe, and then she was shown to have magical abilities, and she is one of the most powerful of her type of magic that they've ever seen. And so her and Nico have the same type of magic, and so they've always been big rivals in school. And so when they get recruited for the Alexandrian Society, one wasn't going to go without the other, because, you're not going to go and me not go. If you said yes, I have to say it. Like, they both went. It was just like a thing. And their dynamic's very interesting. And we're still, when you get through this book, you're still trying to figure out, as they're trying to figure out what their dynamic really is. It's not what you automatically would kind of think on the surface, well, they must really love each other. And it's not really like that. So, incredible. I love those characters. Then we have Reina, who is a naturalist. So she can walk into a room, and the plants, she can hear them talking. They're growing, they're taking from her, and taking some of her life force and growing and all of these things. There's so much more to her than meets the eye, but she's kind of run away from her magic, but she is very, very powerful in what she can do. And it's only towards the end of the book that she, and that's the cool thing about these particular people they put together. They work together in ways that are just unique, like things that she can do and things that he can do. They kind of work together, and they're like, wow, I never thought this was even possible before, but with the two of them it was. So those kinds of things. And it's more towards the end that she kind of steps into her role a little bit more, even though she is very powerful the whole time. Then we have Parisa, who is a telepath, and she is, I think that is one of the scariest things to have, even if you had it. She could read minds, and sometimes things pop in your head, and you're like, oh, I would never do that, or that's ridiculous, But having someone read that thought that you didn't even want to think, but someone else can hear it, is just nuts. And she can not only read your thoughts, but she can really get into your mind and stuff you're not consciously thinking. She can get in there and learn it. And so she's a very beautiful woman, and she uses her wiles to get next to people who are very powerful so she can get information. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff going with that. You have Tristan, who can see through illusions. And so let's say someone's glamored themselves to be beautiful. He sees you as you are. Any illusions that are around that, or even feel real to people, he can tell you that's not real, that's not really happening. There's an attack at one point, and someone's made themselves, an illusionist has made themselves look like they're all over the room, and the person fighting it doesn't know where to go, and he only sees the one, so he can kind of point them in the correct direction. So but there's a lot more to Tristan than meets the eye, and a lot more that he can do that he doesn't even know about. And so I think that was really cool at first, because it was already alluded to by Atlas, so Atlas Blakely, the Atlas Six, is the caretaker who recruits these people, brings them in. There's also a fella named Dalton who is also training them. So I believe he's also a caretaker. But they're both in charge of like teaching them and keeping them in the society and training them about the ways and things like that. But Atlas is the one who kind of recruits these people. And when he recruited Tristan, he already alluded, like, you can do so much more than you have any idea that you can do. And so we kind of start to get a little taste of that here and there throughout the book. But it's only, I feel like the next book is really gonna pick that up a little bit more. Then we have Callum. Callum is someone who can, even more dangerously, read emotions. And not only kind of like Parisa reads the mind, he can read emotions in the depths of how you feel and who you are and all of those things. And there are some people who believe that people like Callum should not exist because of the way he can influence people with those emotions. He is thought to be an illusionist, but he's so much more than that because, again, he can read your emotions and he can decipher things about you and make you do things that maybe you wouldn't do because he can really just manipulate some of those things. And he is not the best guy, but I mean, I don't know what else to say about him. So there are your 6 people. There is another player in all this that I'm not going to mention because I don't want there to be any spoilers whatsoever. But the dynamics of these two, just even with Libby and Tristan, because of the things that he can see, she's like, hey, you see things not as we see them, you see them as they are, so maybe you can see things that you don't even know you're seeing. And all of that stuff. And so she and him actually work together on a few things to see what's possible, and they do something amazing. So just seeing how not only the ones that kind of knew each other, but the ones who didn't, and how they figure out to work together. And again, all of this time, working together and kind of creating alliances, if you will. They're trying to decide who to keep and who can go. And of course, everyone's trying to make themselves very valuable, but at the same time, it's like, is it important for them to be likable as well if we're going to be working together forever as a group? But I loved this book's just uniqueness. It was not just a fantasy book about magic. It was, I think the thing is because it's set in a world kind of like our own, where there are, normal people and magical people, and it's not, and they dress like us and they look like us and they've had jobs like us. I think that in itself is unique, but also the dynamics of them getting to know each other, because they don't know what each other can do right away. It's something they either have to impart to each other, because Atlas doesn't tell everybody. He's like, you find out on your own, or if they're comfortable telling you, then I can tell you they're a physicist or they're a naturalist or something like that, but I'm not going to tell you what powers that they possess, because he's not even telling some of the people that don't know what they're capable of yet, because he's waiting to see who gets initiated into the society. As you get to the end of the book, you find out there's way more than meets the eye, and there's another player in there that you didn't even guess would be, like, I thought there might be more to him at one point, but I didn't guess how. So just go into this book blind as far as like anything extra. Pretty much what I've told you is on the back of the book, except for the fact that there are other societies and that you're in kind of a world like ours, where there's you know, normal people, these people have jobs, these people do these things. But I thought that just made it so unique. This is a very unique book, and I'm getting to the point after reading so many hundreds and hundreds of books over the past several years, anything that has that slight bit of uniqueness that nails it just is like a shining, flashing light in my heart, because, you know, sometimes you see some uniqueness and it just falls flat. They just didn't execute it well. Other times you're like, I've seen this a million times, but, you know, it was really good, really well done. This was both. This was unique and it hit the mark 100%. 5 stars for me. I highly recommend it. And if you haven't already, go pick up this book and support an independent author who has recently gotten picked up. So congratulations to Miss Blake. All right, that is all. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you again very soon right here on Nat's Beautiful Life. Have a great day, gorgeous.